分队呢来到了 Napa 酒庄的 Maxville Winery。我们很多人都特别喜欢来参观这个 Napa 酒庄，但是呢，我们今天给大家介绍的呢，这个是一个非常独特的一个酒庄 Maxville Winery。就是所有到这边来参观的呢，你还有机会除了有机会在这里品酒之外呢，还有机会你还可以在这里办 event 办一些特殊的 team building 它还可以呢，有专门的这个大厨你可以预定专门的大厨来给你来制作，甚至你可以把自己的大厨带进来尤其是我们喜欢吃中餐的，你可以带一个中餐的大厨过来。那这个 building 的后面就是一片湖，可以在湖里还可以钓鱼那在这边呢，他们有一个山，你还可以登山这个山呢有点像我们的一个 private 的 Mission Peak 一样你花了1个多小时呢，你可以爬到这个山顶一览众山小这样的一个风景。这个里面呢，其实它的非常的大它整个的这个占地面积是有1000英亩走进大厅，映入眼帘的是由原来在这个地方的大树为原料做成的长形桌，它保持着树干的自然形状，展现着独特的生成线条。无独有偶，厅内呢这边还有一张由承载着风霜雨雪、见证着年轮流转的大树做成的，现代是人们聚集交流的场所的桌子，成为人和自然、人与人的连接点。Welcome to Financial GPS. This is Daisy. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're at Maxville Winery, a place that passions meets craftsmanship.Every bottle tells a story. And today we have a pleasure of speaking with Scott, CEO of the winery.
Thank you. Yes.
And we're going to have an opportunity to learn more about the art of winemaking, a journey behind the exceptional wine. And especially, we will know what it makes a difference, what makes the winery, this winery, truly special. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Yes.
First of all, I'm very interested in the history of our winery. Would you share something about it?
Sure. So our winery actually has a very long history. This whole area north, where Napa is located north of San Francisco Bay Area, and this whole area back in the 1800s was part of a land grant given to a general named General Vallejo. And this area was included in that. And one of the first white settlers that came in was a guy named Joseph Childs. And he saw this beautiful valley here that we're in. And at that time, it was called Catacula or Catacula Ranch, which means Valley of Oak. And he liked it so much, he went to General Vallejo and he said, hey, can you sell me this land? I'd really like it. And General Vallejo agreed and sold him all of this area that we're currently in, which is the Childs Valley. It was named after Childs after he purchased it. And so that was in about 1844. And they farmed this whole land. From that time, they had cows and did a lot of ranching. And then in the mid-50s, it changed hands to a family called the Keith family. And they turned it into a club for all the local kids to come and be able to learn to do horseback riding, ranching, and fishing. And they were the ones in 1974 that first planted grapes. And then we came in and took this over in 2014, renamed it Maxville, but we still have our Childs vineyards. And those vineyards, some of our vineyards, we have 100 acres of vineyards, are still the ones that were planted by the Keith family in 1974. And in fact, this bottle of wine that's on the table is from that vineyard.
Wow, this is a long history and there's a lot of story here.
Yes, there are.
Yeah, looks like, Chinese saying goes, if a banquet without wine is not complete.
I completely agree.
So wine, I personally really like wine because wine can, as a gift and you can give to a lot of people and then wide variety of the age group.
Yes.
And also a lot of occasion they can use wine. Right?
Yeah.
And what is the signature wine of Maxville?
Well, it's interesting. Like I said, we have 100 acres of vines, and so we grow a bunch of different varietals. We grow Sauvignon Blanc, Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, which most people are familiar with. But we also grow a bunch of other varieties that we use for blending and for standalone, like Cabernet Franc, Petit Verdot, Malbec, some of the classic Bordeaux varieties. And one of our best wines is our 2021 estate, Cabernet Sauvignon. This comes from the vineyards that have been planted the longest, with blended from some of our recently replanted vineyards. And so this is Cabernet Sauvignon, but it includes just a little bit of Malbec and Cabernet Franc.
And ours, particularly our Maxville Winery, I noticed there's a lot of culture and a lot of activities, even because we have the lake, we have the hue. And as a general manager, and you must be very busy. And what is your typical day?
Well, a typical day for the winery certainly is our production crew, our winemaking team gets here at about 7 a.m. And we have caves with barrels, and we have our production area in back. And they do wine work, and they'll start at 7 a.m. and usually work until 3:30 or 4. I come in about 9 o'clock, and the tasting room comes in about 9 o'clock. And we get ready for the day's tasting and food events that we do. And my job is to be behind all of those people. I have an excellent crew, and to make sure that everyone is working together and getting the best wine made we can, and that wine is making it out to the people in the tasting room.
Great. And talking about the tasting room, actually a lot of people, there's a part of their annual activity.
Yes.
And especially in San Francisco Bay Area. And people make their plan, and especially when they trip and go to Napa Valley to have a wine tasting. And for us, for Maxville, what the visitor can expect when they come here?
Great. Well, what's really nice is we're a little bit out of the main valley of Napa, so it's a little bit more of a drive. But it's a beautiful drive, and if you come here, what you can expect is a beautiful natural setting. There's no one around but us. We have a beautiful gardens and a lake and a tasting area, and we offer a couple of different tasting options. You can try just our wines, all of the wines from our vineyards. You can do that with some charcuterie and cheeses. And if you really want something special, we have a chef, and they will do a tasting menu where we take our best wines and pair them with a lot of locally grown vegetables from here at the winery and locally ranched supplies. And we do a tasting menu that will both make the food and the wine shine. And so anyone who comes up can enjoy those while they're getting a great view of our lake and our grounds.
Do we need to reserve?
Yes.
Especially the menu?
Yes, everything needs a reservation. Yeah, in order for us to be prepared and make sure that we have exactly what we need, we always need a reservation. But reservations, we have plenty of space, and we're happy to take as many people as possible.
Yeah, and talking about this, because I remember I once participated in a company like a team building event.
Yes.
And we have an activity here, we have a meal here, and people can enjoy some other activity. So talking about this, can people come here like a private event? For example, people get engagement or or some kind of anniversary, this kind of event. Can they come here too?
Yeah, if they let us know ahead of time, there's some things we can do and some we can't. But certainly a private anniversary or a birthday or something special, if you reserve it, we'll make sure we give you a private space at the winery, and we'll do a nice tasting pairing menu for that and make it a special experience. Unfortunately, Napa County doesn't allow wineries to do weddings, so we can't do those kinds of things. But if it's a small event and you have a small group, we would be more than happy to take them.
Engagement, okay.
Yeah, we've had many engagements. In fact, we just had one last Saturday here. Yeah, and the chef will work with you. So the person who got engaged this last Saturday, they wanted the ring to come out with the dessert course in our wine, and the ring was on top of a freshly baked chocolate chip cookie, and it surprised the girl that was going to get it.
Wow, how romantic.
Yeah, it was very nice.
I think a lot of our young audience will love it.
Yeah.
Or their parents.
Yes, exactly.
Great. And as a general manager, what is the biggest challenge you faced in the past, or you can foresee in the future, and how do you overcome it?
I'll tell you what, the biggest challenge, you'd think it might be economic environment or regulatory environment or even just winemaking, but it's not. The biggest challenge is Mother Nature. I've been doing this for 25 years, and during that time, we've had fires in Napa. We've had an earthquake where all of our barrels fell down. We've had floods because of the rainwater. And that's the stuff you don't know. You can plan for winemaking, you can plan for people, but you can't plan for Mother Nature. So the key to that is just having a good staff, try and do things the best you can, and when you have something, just do the best cleanup you can.
And as a manager for the winery, I'm wondering what made you to take this position, or what you're proud about it?
That's a great question. I think that I was very lucky to get this position. I've done many things in my life, but I've been doing this for 25 years. And I just got an opportunity to come to Napa to work a harvest one year and try it out. And I'd had a business background, and so I was able to get hired and move up. And I consider myself lucky every day. You get to come, especially here at Maxville. It's such a beautiful area. There's a beautiful drive up. You're in nature, and when you get here and look around, it's very peaceful and calming. And so it's a wonderful place to work.
Great.
Yeah.
How do you picture the future like Maxville in 5 or 10 years?
That's a great question. That's what we're working on right now. Well, I look at good growth. I think we've got a really good winery to work with. Our vineyards are fantastic, and we're just starting. We've replanted a couple of those to get the production and the quality up. We're located in the mountains, so it's a little bit different kind of fruit, which is really good structure and really deep, nice fruit. And so I look at the next 5 years as giving us the opportunity to expand not only here at the winery, but do more international export to a bunch of markets and to do a little bit more in the United States. So I'm looking at 5 years and 10 years that we can get nice growth with our wines, and we certainly have the infrastructure and the vineyards to support it. Yeah.
I believe, every industry nowadays is very high competition,
Yes.
right? And especially very high tech, environment. Is there any innovation practice in our winery?
Well, there's, in terms of competition, you're absolutely correct. There's a lot of competition. And unfortunately, in the United States, there's a lot of rules around alcohol in the alcohol industry that sort of set the rules for competition. So that's a little bit difficult. But one of the things that does set us apart is we're working towards a sustainable winery. We have, solar panels. We've made sure that we're trying to be as energy efficient as possible. But more importantly, out in the vineyards, we're farming as organically as possible. We're sustainable. We're making sure we use practices out there that will allow us to minimize our impact and our tractor use, which then minimizes the exhaust and CO2 we're putting into the air. And in addition, we're using a lot of natural practices for pests. One of my favorites is bluebirds. So bluebirds are small birds that are very nice. They don't eat grapes and fruit. They eat bugs, and they eat the bugs that attack grapevines. So throughout our vineyards, we've put bluebird nests that the bluebirds will nest in as our natural way of, instead of having pesticides, but have the bluebirds kill all of the bugs that we don't want. And it's been working out great.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. The wine is not about just the bottle, and we learn now there's a lot of passion,
Yes.
a lot of love, and a lot of innovation and tradition into it.
Yes.
And great thanks to Scott for sharing those insights and stories. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, or audience or friends, no matter you are just beginning to explore or you are seasoned wine lover, and I believe when you look for great glass of wine,
Yes.
I think you know where to go now. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
我们在 Maxville Winery 发现了一个宝贝，一个古董。这个车是军用车哈，我们开着这个车去收葡萄，但是呢，有很多的朋友特别喜欢这种怀旧啊，或者说是没有开过军用车的哈，可以到这儿来过过瘾啊。好酷哦。这个车哈，这个还不仅仅是做背景照相的，这个车是真能开的啊。这 group 啊来了以后，就坐在后边一大卡车啊，你可以一大卡车一家人啊，一个团体啊， 都可以开着这个车去参观葡萄园。但是一定要预约哦，这个车很宝贵的啊，很稀有啊。